Alright, the second this started, it froze, but we're working on that equations of the circle foldable, so let me unfreeze this. There we go. So we're working on this. We're going to finish the bottom section, which is equations in standard form. Then we're going to actually glue it in. Go ahead and open that up. Okay. So tips for writing an equation. First, we're going to write some equations when we're given 2 points. Use the center and a point to find the length of the radius. You may need to use the distance formula. We will have to use the distance formula, okay? In case you have forgotten the distance formula, we're going to write it up here. D equals square root of x2 minus x1. I like to remember it as the change in x squared. So I'm going to talk about that, what I mean by that. Plus y2 minus y1, the change in y squared. Okay, so I'll show you what that means. But write an equation for the circle that passes through 6, 4 with a center of 2, 1. So that's HK. So what we actually need is R. Okay, there's that bell. All right, so to find R, the radius, I need to know how far away this point is from the center of the circle. Here's why. You remember when we had these yesterday? We had the center, the radius, we knew how far away it was. That's what we're actually doing. We have a point on the circle. So our point on the circle is 6, 4. So to find the radius, I'm going to use the distance formula. So the radius is equal to the square root of, here's what I mean by the difference in x's. How does it change from, we go to the smaller number, from 2 to 6? Well, it changes by 4. Now, of course, I could use the distance formula, but that's 6 minus 2, which is 4. Plus, what's the change in the y's? 4 to 1 is 3. Okay, so square root of 16 plus 9, so the square root of 25, so the radius is 5. So I have the center and the radius. So I have x minus 2 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals the radius squared, so 5 squared, which is 25. There's the equation of my circle. I want you to pause the video and try number 2. Write an equation for the circle that passes through 1, negative 2 with a center of 0, 1. Alright, you've paused it. Got the center. Now let's find the radius. We've got our x's, 1 minus 0, or you could have just put 1, plus negative 2 minus 1. 1 squared plus negative 3 squared. 1 plus 9. The radius is the square root of 10. Now we're just going to leave it like that. We're not going to get a decimal. I'll show you why in a moment. Because square root of 10 is not a perfect square. So our equation is x minus 0 squared. Remember, that means I'm just going to skip it a minute and put x squared. Plus y minus 1 squared equals, now remember, this is r squared in the formula. Well, 10, the square root of 10 squared is just 10. That's why that just works out for us, okay? Now I'm going to simplify, because this is x squared, and I'm going to bring everything else down. Okay? Alright, last. To put the equation of a circle in standard form, there is a gnat. You probably saw that to drive me insane. Anyway, to put the equation of the circle in standard form, complete the square for x and y. Now, something I need to tell you about. To complete the square, meaning if we have something like this, we will be looking for this value. To find that value, we will do b over 2 squared. Okay? So we're going to do that in just a second. We have to get it in a certain way first. In order to do that, I want you to look at what the standard form of a circle is. This is the equation of a circle. This is what we're trying to do, is put it in a form like this. Okay? So, here's how this works. I'm going to bring down, I'm going to do it in some separate colors here to help you. I'm going to bring down x squared plus 2x plus, I'm going to leave a blank because I need something here. And I'm going to bring down y squared plus 4y, and I'm going to leave a blank. I'm going to say that's equal to 11. Now, I'm going to have to add a number to complete the square. Now, in order to add a number, I have to add it to both sides in order for that to be okay, which means I'm going to have to add this number here and this number here. Now, let's figure out what actually goes there. We take this value right here, divide it by 2, and square it. And I'm going to put it over here as well. Okay. For this one, I put this value in both places. Now, we're going to get our stuff figured out here. I have x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus, and yes, I'm doing it in colors for a reason. It's a good idea for these, plus y squared plus 4y plus 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 squared is 4 equals 11 plus 1 plus 4. Okay, now that I have found the appropriate number to go here, I'm actually going to be taking this trinomial and factoring it. But it is actually a perfect square trinomial, which means it can be written in the form of x plus, because it's plus here, whatever the square root of 1 is. The square root of 1 is 1. I'll put squared there. Okay, now, plus y. This is positive, so plus. I'm going to take the square root of 4, so the square root of 4 is 2, and that goes here. Now, 11 plus 1 is 12, plus 4 is 16. Here is the equation of my circle in standard form. I couldn't even pick out the center. The center is -1, -2. The radius is 4. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that again. I have it in a way so that the x's are together. I found the perfect square to complete the square. This is an Algebra 1 standard you should have done, but you might not have. All right, then I did the same for y, and I add them to both sides. I then simplified. Then I found the perfect square binomial and the perfect square binomial, and then I just added the terms on this side, or the numbers. We're going to do that again for number 2. Number 2 is actually not in the correct order to do this. Meaning, I have to have x squared, but then I have to have the 4x, the minus 4x. Okay? So I took care of those. And I'm going to put plus my little blank there. Right? Then I have to put the y's. Y squared plus 6y. The order absolutely matters. The y's have to be together, the x's have to be together. Then equals 12 plus my 2 blanks. Now, pause the video, see if you can fill out what goes in the blanks, and then see if you can actually get the values here and here. Alright, so every single time, it's this middle number over 2 squared in both places. Middle number over 2 squared in both places. Then simplify. X squared minus 4x plus -2 squared is 4 plus y squared plus 6y. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. And that equals 12 plus 4 plus 9. Okay, now it's an x. This is minus here, so we put minus. The square root of 4 is 2. Squared. Plus y. This is plus. The square root of 9 is 3. Squared. Equals 12 plus 4 is 16. Plus 9 is 25. There's my answer. Alright, we're going to glue this in on page 136, I think. Yes, 136. Okay, we'll work on 138 and 139 in the next video.